Making music is easy. Now more than ever. But how did we get here? Trap beat chord progressions are really straightforward. When you introduce rules into music to define sounds and genre, you create a framework for creating that same music. Because you just want to build some tension through some dissonance in your chords, and there's so many different ways you can do that. And with your chords, you want to keep the notes like really close together. Typically, I'd even say like keep your bass line of your chords the same or as close as possible. So even just under this, I'm going to throw my root note down. Genres get defined in part by harmony, which pretty much just means chords, so we can expect to see reoccurring chord progressions. What makes those progressions unique is the rhythm that they are presented in. So with your chords, just having basic chords is kind of boring. You can break them up, you can arpeggiate them. You just want to move the notes around and kind of find a vibe. And once you have like 2 bars of rhythm, you just want to keep that rhythm going over for the next 2 bars. Because it's like introducing this common rhythmic idea. Dark trap beats are built on suspense, which is oftentimes made up of dissonant minor second intervals, which just means the notes are side by side. Now, as for sound selection with trap, you have a lot of room to work. Genres can also be defined by the sounds they use. Trap is very versatile. It uses a wide range of sounds. Whether it's an acoustic piano or some obscure omnisphere synth, you want something that captures the mood. So once you've got that first kind of idea down, you want to think about accentuating it. That could be like a counter melody or just like some layers, whatever it might be. In the scope of music, we can expect certain things. And just like we can expect harmony, we can also expect counter melodies. I'm not really sold on the sound at all, but it's more important to get an idea down than to come up with the sound that you want to use in the end, because you can always just change that. But at its core, music is still made up of ideas. So act on those ideas. Experiment and make it your own. I kind of want to add in like a vocal.
Na 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 na. My
Ooh.
dreams are supposed to take
Ooh. Okay, damn. I know some people, they struggle with the drum side of things. And I think the best way to start is by starting out with one of your solid points for your drums, and that would be your clap or snare. Genres are defined by rhythm. That's gonna hit on the 3rd beat usually for trap, and they are made up of similar rhythmic patterns. Trap drum rhythms are based off of very similar ideas. Everyone's probably heard of the 2-step hi-hat pattern. And this is what most trap hi-hats are based around. So when you're building out your hi-hat bounce, you can keep it really simple because you're really just building out a more decorated version of the 2-step hi-hat pattern. But the real magic in trap hi-hats is by playing around with the octaves of these. So you can just take them and pitch some of them down or up an octave. But what sets these rhythms apart is what you do to make it unique. And just like the hi-hat pattern, there's a very common and similar trap 808 pattern. This 2 bars just repeated. It's really common in pop music as well. So with your 808 pattern, you want to kind of do a similar thing and build around that. And with your 808, you can step outside of your bass note. You don't have to play the bass note of your melody all the time. This is one of the beautiful things with trap too, is that the 808 should be a little bit more creative. And what makes trap so unique is its usage of percussion and bass through a wider range of pitches. And it's really important too with your 808 to play around with octaves. Just go up a little bit. Just find what works for your 808. There's the basics to your drums, your hi-hat, your clap, and your 808. That's the three main things. To get a little bit more complicated with it, you want to throw in some kind of accent snare. And the point of this is to add some bounce to your clap. Now, the really common accent snare pattern, especially for trap, is just something like this. Now to make your 808 hit, this is the secret. Saturation. Make your 808 loud. That's all you need to do. So I'm just turning mine up a little bit and I'm sending it to a soft clipper. Genres are also defined by their mixing practices. People always want to know how to mix. They think there's some like complicated thing to mixing. Solo everything. Start off with what needs to be loudest, what needs to cut through the mix. That's gonna be your 808. Sounds good, I like it. We move on. My clap is too quiet in relation to my 808, so I'm gonna turn it up. Music is still music, and a lot of the same shit applies. Your point of focus just changes. I want to do like one of those like super trappy intros now that I think about it. Like I'm talking like that overused, sped up intro, because I feel like it would go really hard with this 808.